topic is on centrosome and centriole. So this centrosome and centriole is the cell organelle which is present in case of animal cell only and is absent in plant cell. So this is the main difference. This is one of the main difference between plant cell and animal cell. That is, the centriole or centrosome is present in case of animal cell, whereas it is absent in plant cell. And this centrosome and centriole, the main function is that it helps during cell division. Okay, so it helps during cell division. That means it helps in formation of astral rays. You will get to know what is astral rays in the later classes. So it helps, just you remember here that it helps during cell division in the by forming astral rays. Now see, on the right side I have drawn a cell where I have shown the centriole which is arranged in two opposite poles. That means they are always present in 90 degree to each other. Okay, so they are together present in 90 degree to each other. And if we see under electron microscope the structure of a centriole or centrosome, it will appear as a cartwheel. It will appear, it will show as a cartwheel appearance. So see, I have drawn there. So this, in case of cilia and flagella, you have seen it is arranged in 9+2 arrangement, whereas in case of centriole or centrosome, it is 9+0 arrangement. Why it is called as 9+0? Because the peripheral proteins are 9 in number, arranged peripherally, which are in the form of triplet fibrils. That means triplet proteinaceous structure called tubulin are arranged and they are named as ABC. Okay, so they are named as ABC. These are the peripheral proteins, and so they are numbered as 9. And 0 means in the central part there is a type of protein which is known as central hub. And this central hub is connected to the peripheral proteins through radial spokes. Okay, so these are the radial spokes. So hence the arrangement is called as 9+0. Now this centrosome containing the two centriole are always located outside the nucleus, and they lie right angle to each other. And remember, they are amembranous. That means they are membraneless. Okay, exhibit cartwheel structure. So next point is centriole consists of 9 evenly spaced peripheral triplet fibrils of protein. What type of protein it is? Tubulin protein, which is linked to each other. That means the adjacent fibrils are linked to each other through the linkers. Okay, through the linkers, which we call it as A to C linker, AC linker, through which one triplet is connected to the next one. So this the central part of the centriole is known as the hub. Is the hub connected to peripheral through the proteinaceous structure through the radial spokes, and they are also proteinaceous in nature. And this centriole is always self-duplicating units. The centriole can replicate by itself. Hence, they are self-duplicating units. And the main function, if you are asked, so as I told, they help during cell division by forming the astral rays. Okay, so first important function is that it helps in the formation of the astral rays during cell division, and also this another function is that centriole helps in the formation of cilia and flagella. So it is also involved in the formation of cilia and flagella. So these are the two important functions performed. Your next cell organelle is nucleus. So nucleus is also known as the brain of the cell, as it consists of the main genetic material. So this genetic material will show the inherent property. Okay, so this cell organelle was first discovered by Robert Brown in 1831, and later the material of the nucleus was stained by a particular stain which is known as acetocarmine. So acetocarmine is particularly used to dye the or to stain the nucleus in order to see the genetic material. And after staining, it was observed that the nucleus consists of some network, loose distinct network, which is known as chromatin. So chromatin means on condensation later on it will form the genetic material, that is the chromosome. Now this nucleus is a double membranous cell organelle. It is a double membranous cell organelle, that means consists of outer and inner membrane, which is separated by perinuclear space. Okay, so between outer and the inner membrane, the space is known as perinuclear space, and the outer membrane is always continuous with the endoplasmic reticulum. Now we know that a cell consists of a single nucleus, but in some cases you will see a cell may consist of more than one nuclei also. So if it consists of more than one nuclei, then it is known as multinucleate condition or synocytic condition, which is also known as synctium. Okay, synocytic, synctium or multinucleate condition. Now if we see the composition or what are the components present in a nucleus, there are mainly four components, that is number 1 is nuclear membrane, nucleoplasm, number 3 nucleolus, and number 4 is chromatin network, okay, or the chromatin reticulum. Now say number 1, nuclear membrane. So it is the outer double membranous structure which encloses the matrix or the composition present inside the nucleus. Now as I told, it is double membranous separated by perinuclear space, and the outer membrane is always continuous with endoplasmic reticulum. Now you can see on board, I have drawn the membrane is not continuous, it is interrupted by some pores which are known as nuclear pores. So this membrane is not continuous throughout the nucleus, but this is interrupted by some pores which is known as nuclear pores. And this nuclear pores function is that it helps in the movement of materials, that means whatever synthesized, the substance whatever synthesized inside the nucleus, it allows the movement to the cytoplasm through these nuclear pores, or whatever the material synthesized outside the nucleus, that means in the cytoplasm, it allows the movement into the nucleus. That means nuclear pores allows movement of particles inside and outside the nucleus. Okay, so the inner membrane is always lined by nuclear lamina, and the inner membrane of the nuclear membrane, that means the inner one, it is consists of a protein which is known as lamina protein that forms the nuclear lamina. So this is about the nuclear membrane. Now second is the nucleoplasm, which is the matrix. Okay, it is the ground substance which is a complex colloidal made up of colloids like nucleosides, ATPs, proteins. It consists of nucleosides, nucleotides. So nucleoside, nucleotides, you can, if you see what are nucleosides and nucleotides, so you can remember as these are the monomers that makes up the DNA or RNA. That means the genetic material constituents are nucleosides and nucleotides. So nucleoplasm is the ground substance or the matrix which consists of nucleosides, ATP, proteins, and etc. Now number 3 is nucleolus. So nucleolus, see, it is the small structure which is present within the nucleus. Now this nucleolus is always membraneless. Okay, so it does not have any membrane, so it is membraneless and spherical structure, and is present within the nucleoplasm. And the main function of this nucleolus is that it helps in synthesis of ribosomal RNA. So see, I have written it is the site for active rRNA synthesis. So it is therefore known as ribosome factory of the cell. Okay, it is also known as ribosome factory of the cell. So larger and more numerous nucleoli are present in cells that are more involved in protein synthesis. Means more numerous nucleoli are present in some particular cells. Large numbers of nucleoli may also present in some cells that carry out the function of protein synthesis. And the last one is chromatin network. That means the chromatin reticulum. So this is the main genetic material which chromatin means in a certain stage during cell division you will see a loose distinct network loose distinct network like fibrous structures present within the nucleoplasm, which is known as chromatin. And on condensation, means during the course of cell division only, it will condense to form the chromosome, which will contain again the genetic material. So this chromatin mainly consists of DNA, RNA, and along with this they consist of a type of protein in case of eukaryote, which is known as histone protein. That means the DNA and histone proteins are present in the chromatin, and or RNA and non-histone protein may present in this chromatin. So depends whether it is in eukaryotic or prokaryotic cell. Now one more thing, there are two types of chromatin network which is known as euchromatin and heterochromatin. So you can see within the chromatin reticulum, some parts are densely packed. Okay, some parts are densely packed, they are tightly packed. They are then it is known as heterochromatin. And if this chromatin reticulum are loosely packed, they are loose. If they are loosely packed, then it is known as euchromatin. That means the thickly packed or the densely packed, and on staining they will retain the more stain. They will retain more color. So that part is known as heterochromatin. And the part which are loosely packed, they will not retain more color, and therefore they are known as euchromatin. And always remember, so this as I told, chromatin reticulum or the chromosomes will contain DNA and RNA, or DNA or RNA, and this DNA always helps in the formation of RNA by the process called mRNA, by the process called transcription. Now this chromatin network or the chromatin reticulum, which is either euchromatin or heterochromatin, now this heterochromatin are always transcriptionally inactive. Transcriptionally inactive means they are not involved in the synthesis of mRNA, whereas the euchromatin, which is transcriptionally active, are always involved in the process of mRNA synthesis. So remember this. I will give you the notes on PDF. You can make the notes, required notes from that. So just here you remember the types of chromatin. One is heterochromatin, one is euchromatin. Euchromatin is transcriptionally active, that means it is involved in the synthesis of protein, and heterochromatin is transcriptionally inactive, that means it is not involved in the process of formation of mRNA. So this is all about nucleus. Next topic is chromosome. So chromosome means it is the condensed part of chromatin reticulum which is present within the nucleus. So these chromosomes are generally, you can say, it is the main genetic means the material genetic. It will consist the genetic material which will carry the which is responsible for the inherent property. Now this chromatin reticulum, which condense on to form chromosomes, are visible, properly visible in a certain stage, at a certain stage during cell division, which is known as metaphase stage. The number of chromosomes present in a gamete. Gamete means gamete. You can see which is either sperm or ovum. So this gamete, the number of chromosomes which is present in a gamete is called as a genome. Okay, it is known as genome, and or else you can say complete set of chromosomes inherited as a unit from one parent is called as genome. That means the gamete gamete that is transferred from one parent is known as the genome. Now the chromosomes may vary in number. Okay, the chromosomes may vary in number. As you know, the human consists of 46 chromosomes, and in gamete it consists of half the number, which is known as 23. So if it consists full set of chromosome, we call it as diploid. Diploid number. And if we in case of gamete, if it consists of half, now in gamete it consists half the number of chromosome from one parent, and the other parent gives half the number of chromosome. So this is known as haploid. That means in gamete always haploid, and in human in the body, human body, it is the full set of chromosome which is known as diploid. Now next we see the structure of chromosome. So see the in structure of chromosome, the chromosome mainly consists of the 4 parts. Means a chromosome mainly consists of, the first part is known as chromatid. So see, so these are the arms. The arms are known as chromatids. So these are the cylindrical structure which are attached to a certain point, which is known as centromere. So these chromatids actually consist of the genetic material. Now on the either side of these centromere, these are the 2 sister chromatids, these are the 2 sister chromatids. Now see, a chromosome may contain either a single chromatid or more than 1 chromatid, that means 2 chromatids. So it depends on which stage of cell division it is present. So it may, here I have drawn 2 chromatids. So this is 1 chromatid, this is the another chromatid. So a chromosome may contain more than 1 chromatid, that means 2 chromatid, depending on which stage of cell division it has, it is present. Now each chromatid consists of thread-like structure. See, these chromatids consist of, these are the thread-like structure which are known as chromonema. Okay, so if this chromonema, when they duplicate or replicate, it consists of this replicated form, then it is known as chromonemata. Means plural form of chromonema is chromonemata. So this chromonema contains the gene, and which and this beaded structure which I have drawn represents the gene in a DNA which is known as chromomere. That means a chromosome consists of the arms called chromatids, chromatids consist of DNA called chromonema, and chromonema consists of chromomere. Okay. So the DNA or the genetic material is associated with histone, is associated with a type of protein, that means chromonema, which consists of DNA, is always associated with a type of protein called histone. And if it is in case of prokaryotic cell or other than eukaryotes, so that means it is then the genetic material is present along with a known histone protein. Okay, so this is about the chromatids, chromonema, and the chromomere. Now this is the constriction to which the chromatids are attached, is known as centromere, and centromere is the primary constriction. Okay, so the 2 chromatids which are attached to a point or attached to a constriction which is known as centromere. Okay, this centromere, on the right side you can see the centromere, the centromere there, it consists of half disc shaped structure. So see, half disc shaped structure it consists of, which is known as kinetochore. So these are the proteinaceous in nature, and the kinetochore acts as means it will help during cell division, which will help in attachment of spindle fibers. Okay, attached during cell division, the chromosomes are pulled towards the chromatids are pulled towards the opposite poles, and it is pulled with the help of some fibrous structure which are known as spindle fibers, and these spindle fibers always are attached to the kinetochore, not directly to the centromere. It is attached to the kinetochore, and this kinetochore, that means if you are asked what is the function, it helps during cell division as it is the site for the attachment of spindle fibers. So remember, that means the kinetochore associated with centromere. So next is about secondary constriction. See, so at the terminal ends of the chromosome, beside the primary constriction, that means besides the centromere, and another constriction is present which is known as secondary constriction, and this constriction are generally non-staining part. Okay, so this again secondary constriction is not present in all type of chromosome. That means in case of human being, if it is 46 in number, when it is 46 in number, so it is not present in all 46 chromosomes. It is present in only certain types of chromosome, and the chromosomes in which the secondary constrictions are seen, they are known as SAT chromosome. That means satellite chromosome. Okay, so that it is known as satellite chromosome, and those chromosomes are chromosome number 13, 14, 15, 21 and 22. That means 13, 14, 15, 21 and 22 are satellite chromosome, and they are also known as nucleolar organizer region. Okay, they are also known as nucleolar organizer region or NOR. Now that means the part of the chromosome that remains after the NOR is known as satellite chromosome. And the chromosomes have polarity or the polar ends. Okay, that means the ends. The ends are known as telomeres. The ends of the chromosomes are known as telomere, and they are rich in certain type of certain type of nitrogenous base, which is known as guanine base. And what is the function of telomere? They always prevents the fusion of one chromosome with the other. So the telomere which are present at the which are the terminal ends of a chromosomes, they helps in prevention. They helps in preventing the fusion of one chromosome with the other one. And this telomere synthesize an enzyme which is known as telomerase. Okay, which is known as telomerase, and this telomerase consists of ribonucleoprotein. Okay, so this consists of ribonucleoprotein. So this is the structure of a chromosome. That means a chromosome consists of if you are asked about the satellite chromosome or any morphology of a chromosome, you can write about the centromere, the chromatids, the chromonema, the chromomere, and the secondary constriction, which then it is known as satellite chromosome. So again I have written about the matrix. That means, see, the covering of the chromosome is known as pellicle. Okay, the covering of the chromosome is known as pellicle, and pellicle encloses the jelly like substance which is known as matrix. So this is all about the structure of chromosome. Next, if we see the types of chromosome, now based on the location, okay, based on the location or the position of the centromere present on the chromosome, there are 4 types of chromosomes. So remember this is the important part. So it is easy also. So you see, number 1 is metacentric. So in metacentric, see, the centromere is located at the center point or the mid of the chromosome, and the arms are of equal length. Okay, and 2 arms are of equal length. So this is metacentric. In submetacentric, this centromere is not at the center point or the mid point. It is located towards one end and making one arm little longer than the other. That means both arms are not of equal length. Third is acrocentric. Acrocentric, here the centromere is located towards one end. Okay, it is closer to one end, making one arm too long and the other too short. And last is telocentric. Here, see, the centromere is terminal and chromosome has one arms only. Chromosome has one chromatid only. So here, in telocentric, the chromosomes, the centromere is located at the terminal point. So this is all about the position of, based on position of centromere, the types of chromosome. So by this, you complete your cell chapter. Okay.